The Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia, was founded by former President Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalynn. Nestled in a park area, the center's work stretches around the world, striving to ensure human rights and ease suffering. Its democracy program focuses on helping fledgling democracies conduct free and fair elections, mostly by sending observers to monitor voting. They're doing that again this year, but the election they're monitoring may surprise you. Barry Petersen reports from Atlanta.
Guyana, South America, 2020. Election observers from the Carter Center found problems, but a recount 5 months later led to a peaceful transition of power. Tunisia, North Africa, 2019. Another of the more than 110 elections worldwide where Carter Center observers watched over contest. Myanmar, Southeast Asia, 2015. Their first free elections, their first step towards democracy, where they found many could not vote because of violence or discrimination.
These are all the elections we've observed since 1989.
David Carroll is director of the democracy program at the Carter Center in Atlanta, and he personally observed elections. This year, the Carter Center has a new troubled election it is focusing on: ours. What does that mean?
That means we've realized that the situation in the United States, the threats to democracy and to our institutions here, are greater than in many countries around the world.
Both sides are sowing mistrust in election results, as did Democrat Stacey Abrams when she denied losing the 2018 Georgia governor's race.
We won.
And Donald Trump when he lost in 2020.
There's no way we lost Georgia. There's no way. That was a rigged election.
This year, even before the first votes, some candidates already say they won't accept election results unless they win.
That's the nightmare scenario if people don't agree to a peaceful transfer of power. I mean, that is the fundamental element of a democracy.
I understand what you're saying, but I sense, really and truly, there's a bit of fear in what you're thinking about.
Oh, a great amount of concern and fear of what could happen in this country if we are not able to get ourselves back on the right track.
Fear of what?
Fear of this country no longer being a place that is genuinely democratic.
Hardcore, take-no-prisoner partisans get the publicity. But surprisingly, it's not what most Americans want. A new poll showed 2/3 of respondents want candidates who will compromise to create change. The Carter Center will observe elections in 3 states this year: Georgia, Arizona, and Michigan, watching voting or election preparations. Experience it got in 2020 when it observed the recount in Georgia that confirmed a Biden victory. And in 2020, Gabriel Sterling, now Georgia's interim Deputy Secretary of State, issued a blunt warning as emotions on both sides boiled over and some election officials faced death threats.
It has to stop. Someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to get shot, someone's going to get killed.
What do you feel overall, just bringing the focus back out of Georgia and across America? Are you worried about the direction this is going?
Generally speaking, I remain hopeful in these situations. And what we have to remember is not all of these people are evil people. All these people who are thinking that the election was stolen, they believe in their heart of hearts their actions are protecting American democracy.
And like 2020, this year there are more threats to officials and volunteer workers. It is taking a toll. When you're a poll worker or thinking about being a poll worker and you face these kinds of threats, let's be honest, how does that affect your mental health?
It really can have quite a serious impact on people's mental health, especially in the longer term.
Avery Davis Roberts is Associate Director of the Carter Democracy Program and a veteran of several overseas elections. How does that play out?
They tell you stories about being afraid to be at home by themselves because of the threats they've received. Some people just start crying. Men, women, Republicans, Democrats. These are threats that have really impacted election officials from all walks of life.
The midterm election is a dry run for the big prize, the presidential election of 2024. Will there be a free and fair 2024, or will we have lost our way by then?
Ask me after 2022.
The message is as clear as it is ominous. The many battles over democracy and voting may end up destroying democracy itself. For CBS Saturday Morning, Barry Petersen, Atlanta.
Interesting when he says, will we have a free and fair 2024? And he says, ask me after 2022.
Also, early in the piece, talking about this idea that the threats here are greater than in other places in the world in trying to have a democratic election.
I was still watching it because, you know, I felt the wash of history in the moment of watching that piece go by, because we've seen this before in our country many times, but we've gotten over the hump. The question is, will we this time around?